Hey guys, this is Sabino Spots. I just kind of wanted to make a little video. I had a whole bunch planned out, and I keep restarting it and deleting footage because it's just not coming out right and it's not flowing. So I just kind of wanted to speak from the heart about what is a real equestrian. I might be preaching to the choir here a little bit, and I might be playing a little bit of devil's advocate because I'm just, a lot of the horse bloggers are kind of stepping around who it is because they don't want to give her views, but let's face it, the girl's got over 30,000 subscribers. She doesn't need our help getting views. It is RaleighLink's video, I think it was Wimp Equestrians or something like that, and it's basically where she said that you have to fall off 20 times to be a real equestrian. Now, if you haven't watched this video, I suggest you do because it's just good to have insight. Even if it's someone you don't like. It's part of growing up. Welcome to adulthood. It's not fun. Stay a kid as long as you can. I even made notes on this, and it was funny because as I was making notes, she would pretty much say what I was writing up. So I think that she had some good points because she did acknowledge that horses are big animals. She did acknowledge that horses can kill you. She did acknowledge that this sport isn't for the faint of heart. But the way she said it wasn't the best. Because I teach young, impressionable children, and they treat what I say very seriously because they trust me. I am going to assume, and I have seen on her videos, there are some naysayers, but most of them are in support of Raleigh. They are. Let's just face it and take it what it is. They are in support of Raleigh. She has their trust to some extent, mostly. As professionals, we need to be really careful not to betray that trust. Now, I know that the woman that she was talking to wasn't actually using her as the instructor, and the whole situation got blown up. Admittedly, Raleigh should not have stuck her nose into it, but I get it. When you see your friend getting crapped on, it's kind of hard to stay out of it. This isn't a hate video, but I feel like it's important to address it because I teach kids that are roughly the same age and have probably seen her videos at some point, and I don't want them to get the wrong idea because of what someone on the internet says. We know that that is sometimes dangerous. Especially when you start glorifying the idea of falling off and riding with injuries. That's pretty much the only thing I had a real big issue with. It should never be glorified to go out and get yourself hurt. That is another thing. Dude, if you're hurt, don't ride. Just don't do it. As someone who has hurt themselves and has continued to ride and now still feels pain from it almost 10 years later, don't do it. It's not worth it. And Raleigh, you have such a huge following. We all know that. But you kind of need to think about that. And I know you were irritated at the time. You were emotional. I get it. I've been 16. I've been there too. I'm 26. Sometimes I still get that way. But as professionals, we really have to watch what we say around kids and to not give them the wrong idea. Because they're impressionable. And we are their heroes in the world. So we have really, really got to be careful with what we say. And I know it's your channel, but it's also not, because you do have these kids that, might have horses, might not, and it should never be encouraged for them to get hurt or to ride with injuries. That's just kind of ridiculous to me. Especially as someone who works so hard to keep kids safe, because I've worked at barns that had lesson horses that didn't listen, that had bad habits, that they didn't school their horses so they were never fixed, and it's extremely irritating. Especially when I have a horse that if I say whoa, he stops, because if things go bad, I want him to stop. I mainly wanted to talk to the kids. or anyone watching. It could be an adult that, you know, you haven't fallen off 20 times, or maybe you are afraid. And I just wanted to tell you that it's okay. It's okay to be afraid. I've ridden a lot of horses in my life. I have been bucked off. I've been reared on, you know, well, not like, I've been on horses that reared. I have been on horses that have spooked out from underneath me. And yeah, it'll mark your mind a little bit. It will, and it'll give you a little bit of self-doubt. Like, oh, well, I fell off, so this must mean I suck. Fear is natural. Fear just happens. It is something, it's a survival mechanism that has kept us alive for ever. A little bit of fear is a good thing to have. It keeps you respectful, and that keeps you from getting hurt too bad. And yes, at some point, you have to decide, is this sport for me or is it not? And you have to make that decision for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only person whose expectations you have to live up to are your own. It doesn't matter what someone on the internet says you have to do to be a real equestrian. Pretty much, I think, to most horse people, as long as you treat your horses decently, you're going to be pretty good in their book.